So this afternoon, Mrs. Warrington is going to attempt to make sweet potato falafel pittas. I have to tell you now, I don't usually cook. So this is going to go one way or it's going to go another. Okay? Fantastic. So to make these sweet potato falafels, we need 500 grams of sweet potatoes. We also need 2 cans of chickpeas. I need some fresh coriander. I also need some ground coriander, some cumin, some ground cinnamon. I will need 3 cloves of garlic, and I will need some apparently roughly chopped spring onions. Okay, that is our ingredients. On the right hand side, we have the different utensils we're going to need. So we're going to need a chopping board, I'm going to need a potato peeler, I'm going to need a sharp knife because I need to cube the sweet potatoes. We have got a baking tray and some greaseproof baking paper because we'll need that in a little bit, and some weighing scales. The first job is to wash our hands thoroughly so we make sure that they are all clean. Second job will be to line the baking tray, okay? Hoping I'm doing this right. So just making sure that the paper sits inside. Next job is to turn the oven on and to get it on at 200 degrees. Next job is to peel and chop into cubes the sweet potato. Okay, so if you are a bit unsure about how to use a potato peeler, please ask a mummy or a daddy. Next job is to use a quite a sharp knife, so it might be a mummy and daddy job, to make sure you can chop this sweet potato into small cubes. Gosh. So once you've chopped them across, we need to make these into little cubes. Okay, so okay, so just like that, just little cubes, and then I'll do the rest. So once they've all been cubed, they just go into the baking tray. Make sure they're spread out and that they're not touching each other as much as possible. These will be popped into the oven, which has been popped on already, for 35 to 40 minutes until they are golden. Apparently, I need to turn them over about halfway through, and 10 minutes before the end, I need to add in the drained chickpeas. Then once all that is done, in about 40 minutes time, I will need to leave them to cool for probably an hour or so. Okay, so that's my next job. Okay, so pop them into the oven. And because they're in for 35 to 40 minutes, I'm gonna set the timer for 20 minutes, and that will tell me that I need to turn them over. Okay, so we're going to take the 2 tins of chickpeas, because it says 2 400-gram tins of chickpeas. I'm going to just drain them both. There's one. And this is the second. Ooh, slightly different size, but there we go. Okay, just going to give that a wash through. And there they are. Okay, so chickpeas, all drained. These are going to go in with the sweet potatoes. Okay, so we're going to take out the sweet potatoes because, oh, take my glasses off, I'm all steamy. Because they have been in for 20 minutes and we now have to add the chickpeas. Oh, sorry, we need to turn these over. So give them a bit of a shake, turn over, and these are going to go back in for another 10 minutes, and then I'll be adding the chickpeas. Okay, so time has gone off, so we have got another 10 minutes left of cooking. So, yes, they look fantastic. They're starting to go golden, which is what the instructions tell me they're going to do. But at this point, I need to add the chickpeas in for the last 10 minutes. So, the drained chickpeas are going in to bake. Move the potatoes down a little bit so that we've got, so they can evenly spread about. I have never tried this recipe before, so it really is. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so this is going to go back into the oven, and it's going to go on for the last 10 minutes. So I'm going to set the timer for the last 10 minutes so it tells me when it's ready. Okay, so it has been the last 10 minutes. The chickpeas have been in. Again, I have steamed up. So we have got our chickpeas and we have got our potatoes, and at this point we just need to leave them to go cold. Okay, so we have waited for a couple of hours, and down here we have now got the cooled sweet potato and chickpeas that were in the oven for 40 minutes. They're all done. So we've let those go cold, and now we're going to blitz in the food processor all the different ingredients to make the falafels. Okay, so to start with, my able assistant is going to mix together 1 tablespoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of coriander, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and they are going to go into the food blender. Okay, at the same time I am going to be chopping up some spring onions and some garlic, and I'm going to be popping those into the food blender as well. So they're going to be mixed in together. So all I'm going to do is just take off the ends to make sure it's nice and clean. Pop that there. It's all going in together, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, so they're okay, and I'm just going to chuck those spring onions into the food processor as well. Okay, we're going to be popping in some garlic, so I have got some garlic here, 3 cloves of garlic, and all I'm going to do is take off the outsides of those so that I can pop these into the food blender as well. Okay. Okay, so to do the garlic, rather than just chuck it straight into the blender, I'm just going to crush it in a garlic crusher to get all the garlic out and the juices flowing. I'll just do these to these 3, and then I'll add that to the blender as well. I know the blender's going to crush it up, but I just prefer it this way. Not much on that one, but yeah. Put that one in there. And pop that one in. Last one. So we're supposed to use 3 garlic cloves in there. So those 3 are now in. And I'm going to just pop that into the food processor as well, because it asks us to blend the lot together. Okay, so those bits have gone into the blender, and the last bits to go in are the chickpeas and the sweet potatoes, which we will need to blitz to make a paste. So they are all in the blender there. It also asks us to add a little bit of salt and of pepper. and, sorry for the noise, blend. Okay, so we're going to have to turn the oven back on because we've blended now the chickpeas and the sweet potatoes and all the lovely spices and things. It smells gorgeous in here. I am so good at this. And we're going to turn on the oven and we're going to set it to 220, apparently. That's what the instructions say. And start. I know how to use them. Okay, so this is the mixture. And it says in the book that it should be a sort of paste, a smooth paste. Mine isn't, but it balls up quite nicely, which is what we've got to make in a minute. So I'm not too fussed about that. I can't be wonderful at everything, obviously. So we're going to take the baking tray and we are going to line it with baking paper again. Okay, and pop that in. And my next job is to take the falafel mixture and create balls, about 20 it says. So I'm just going to take a ball, take some in my hand, make a bit of a ball with it, bit of a ball shape, and pop it onto the paper. Okay, so I'm going to be at this for a little while, making 20 of them. Okay, so managed to make 20 balls, falafel balls. It says that we have to spray these with spray, low-cal spray I'm using. So just giving them a quick spray before I pop them into the oven on 220. And apparently they need to bake for 25 minutes. Okay, or it says, yeah, 25 minutes. Or until crisp and golden on the outside. So off we go. And these will go in now and I'll set the timer for 25 minutes. There we go. Let's go. Okay, so just so you know that these are sweet potato and falafel pittas. So I've got my pita breads, but just to go inside them, we're going to have salad, and I'm just going to make some sort of sauces to go with it. So I'm going to use some natural yogurt that I have here, and I'm just going to do 3 different types for the family to choose from. Oh, I've made a mess already. What a shock. I've just chopped up some cucumber, so I'm going to be popping some cucumber into one. I don't know what that's going to be like. I'm just making this up as I go along because I don't cook very often. And I don't always know what I'm doing, but I just like to experiment. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, the second one is a bit of a cheat because I have got here some tzatziki mix and I've got some garlic pepper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of one in one and I'm going to put some of one in another, and then they're going to go on the table for people to just try out. Okay? Okay. So they are finished and we are going to have salad with flatbreads and falafels for dinner. Okay. So plenty of salad. With flatbread. And then falafels. Voila.